The Who Would Win of the Week this week is Nelson Muntz versus Biff Tannen. It's Nelson from The Simpsons versus Biff from Back to the Future. Two bullies, maybe the two best bullies.
I just had a lick of deja vu. Did we already do this matchup?
No.
Okay.
I'm positive.
You always say that.
I know. And then I'm sure later tonight I'll text you and be like, I think we did this exact thing like 4 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
But I know we didn't.
Did you scroll through?
I know we didn't.
Did you look at your chart? I'll do it. You start teeing it up.
Biff could be Nelson's dad. Like, they honestly grew. This is because I wanted to do a bully matchup for this week's Who Would Win. And these guys are two of the top bullies around, but they're so similar because their upbringings seem to be, there's a lot of.
Does this cut the first Who Would Win of the Week we ever did was George Costanza versus Pierce Hawthorne?
Oh no, that only goes so far back. First one we ever did was Stitch versus Joe Exotic, because it was when Tiger King was the hot new beat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track.
Now, Biff Tannen is a grown ass man. I mean, we could do the high school Biff for sure, which is I'll probably like use that picture in the graphic, but. I mean, high school Biff, this is an 18-year-old guy. Nelson is...
I think we definitely do high school Biff. Or we do Biff when he's like the king of the world, when he owns that casino.
Trump Biff?
Yeah.
Now let's do high school Biff.
Yeah.
High school Biff versus Nelson, who is in 4th grade, but I think he got held back a couple times, so he's probably like 10. So we got a 10-year-old versus an 18-year-old. But Nelson, is not just a regular... Yeah, he's not just a regular, run-of-the-mill kid. Like, Nelson's got grit. Like, he's fully dirty. Like, if you put your hand on his face, like, you would rub mud off of him. Like, that's the kind of grit that Nelson has. Biff, the tough guy thing is all just kind of an act with Biff, right?
Nelson's kind of a bitch, too. He cries all the time. I mean, I know he's a 10-year-old, but...
Nelson does have the
crying.
soul of a poet. You're right. Nelson do be crying. Nelson do, in fact, be crying. And Biff is just kind of like a dumb, shitty asshole. Like, he's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, I feel like Biff is more likely to take something way too far because he thinks it's funny, and then nobody laughs. And he's like, what? You don't think it's funny? I'll fucking beat you up, too.
Yeah, right.
Like, he'll, do something, like, horrific to somebody.
But he's the thing about...
He'll, like, castrate somebody and be like, ha!
Jesus Christ.
Maybe that was too far.
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, it was the 1950s, buddy.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
like,
that's a good point,
that's like, in his era...
Dude, Biff is from a different time.
Oh, dude, he was doing some messed up stuff to people, man.
Dude.
He was
I hate to say it, but I think Biff might have been down in Selma and not marching on the good side. I feel like Biff might have a fire hose in the trunk of his car, if you know what I'm saying. He's a racist.
Yeah, I know what you were saying. I'm not going to go as far as to claim that he's a racist. But I
feel like it's a safe bet, so I'm not going to pull back on it.
But what I will say is, like, he was definitely, like, bullying nerdy kids to the fullest extent. Like, Nelson will be taking somebody's lunch money. He'll be, like, he'll be throwing some punch. He punched a lot of people in the stomach.
Does. Yeah.
He loves the stomach punch. Whereas Biff, I feel like, was, like this is going to... But, like, hanging people in trees by their ankles.
Wow, okay. Way to prove my point for me.
That's not
Let's
what I
just
meant,
say, like, atomic wedgie. Biff's like an atomic wedgie.
Like duct taping people together, like, tying them up, like, and, like, you know what
Biff's
I mean?
a big bondage guy, is what you're saying.
Well, he was just, like... It wasn't just like swirlies and like taking people's lunch monies or stuffing them in lockers. Like he was messing people up for the rest of their lives.
That's
mentally.
the thing. He fully ruins George McFly's life.
Yeah.
Like, until Marty goes back in time and fixes it. Like he completely destroys any chance George McFly has at success.
To the day.
To the day, dude. Like that's what it's 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years he destroys that guy. That's psychotic. That's a level of psycho that Nelson, I don't think, has in him, which is a good thing. I think it's next door or something.
Dude, I heard this, like, faint little, like, folk tale.
Yeah. Little tall tale noises going on.
Yeah, I think that Nelson is a good cartoon bully.
Yeah.
And I do think that Biff also has a soft side.
I think Biff has a wimpy side. Or maybe, I don't know how to put it.
No, because when he gets punched in the face, he runs away, doesn't he?
Biff?
Yeah.
He gets knocked out, I think.
He's knocked out.
Yeah, I think George hits him. Get your damn
But like,
hands off
obviously,
of her.
the character progression of a bully is that they're always going to be self-conscious about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
I think Biff has a lot more of that. That's what I was trying to say.
they're both going to have that. Like, that's just. But I think that, and I don't think it has anything to do with age, because I think ultimately Nelson's path of bullying, if he were to ever actually age, which he does not, would always continue on the same line. Like, he would never randomly one day like increase his level of bullying. He would just, and he's not going to be bigger than people forever.
Are you saying like
dude.
Once Nelson gets out of the schoolyard, it's kind of like
No, but I don't think he's ever going to like take it to another level. Like
the way
that'll
that
be
Biff
his,
has.
Yeah,
Biff's
like
literally
like,
created his
a
entire
high
life
school.
around
A high
bullying.
school Nelson might slap your lunch tray out of your hands or something, but he's never gonna really.
He's not gonna come to your house when you're like
torture you,
both.
yeah.
When you're both grown men and be like, "I need you to do my literal job for me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's probably not going to have a job. No offense to Nelson, but he's probably going to be like fairly homeless.
It depends. There's some episodes where you really get to see Nelson shine.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And I just think Biff is just a piece of shit.
But do you think Biff would win the fight because of that
Yes,
a full
'cause I think
psycho element to
yeah.
it? Like he's completely crazy.
I think that
He's a
Biff
bad
would get
dude.
mad. Like
Yeah.
I think if you punched Biff and he didn't get knocked out and he like fell backwards and like rubbed his hand and his nose
Nobody
was
makes
bleeding,
me bleed my own blood.
Yeah,
that
he
kind
would
of thing.
do that, and then he would like take it way too far, like pull a
Yeah.
knife out, stab.
Yeah, he could kill Nelson. Biff might kill a kid.
I'm gonna take
Again,
Biff.
it was the 50s though, so
But there's also an element of
get away with
like
that.
they both throw the first punch and connect at the same time, and then both cry, and like the fight never ends. There's also
That's true.
potential for that. But I think if the fight is going to end, it's going to be ultimately Biff winning because, but like I feel like Nelson, because like you said, he is kind of a poet, could verbally really put Biff in a blender because Biff is stupid.
that's going to be his one shot. Because yes, you could absolutely.
I'm taking Nelson.
Really.
Yeah, that just did it for me because you're right. Biff is like very emotional. Like I don't think Biff could handle the slander that Nelson could throw at him, and that's one of Nelson's greatest aspects as a bully is like verbally he is very good at it. Like he's not just saying you're like you know
he's
what
got
I mean?
it from all angles. He's not just the physical bully. He's a mental bully as well.
And like I'm not saying Biff doesn't say mean stuff, but he doesn't say it. He doesn't articulate it well. Like
Fuck no.
make like a tree and get out of here.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm actually going to take Nelson. I think that he's going to really pin Biff. Like Biff's going to be like, why are you being so mean? And Nelson's still going to be on top of him, like punching him in the face, like laughing, saying, mean things.
That's his one shot.
And not even things that are like necessarily that mean, but that really hurt Biff's like insecurities.
Oh yeah, because again they are so similar. Like Nelson does know what's gonna get this guy.
Oh yeah.
Push his buttons.
Yeah.
I still think I got to take Biff though, just because that progression that we see through Biff, like bullying for 30 fucking years. That's you're crazy.
But part of that also is that
he's been in the game. He's a fucking vet. Dude.
What's his name? Not George McFly never stands up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes it forever. Like Nelson will give it right back.
Damn, dude.
And I don't think that he can take it back. Biff can't take it back.
You're right.
Biff
Because
can shell it. He can dish it. He can't take it back. That's a classic example of somebody that can give it out but can't take it.
You're right, because we do see that. When he gets it, he's toast. So
Nelson.
turn me around.
Lock
It's
me
Nelson,
in, baby.
It's Nelson.
Clean sweep for Nelson. Vote on that on Instagram on Friday. Who would win of the week?